Talks about how you do horizontal and vertical translation. So if you got that -2 there on the outside, it's going to go down 2. All right, what about f of x plus 4? Austin, what do you think about that? You know what's going to happen there?
It's going to increase by 4.
So it's going to, well, you got to say up, down, left, or right.
Up.
Okay, good. Now, I don't want to assume that's what you meant. So it's going to move, so it moves up 4. Okay. All right, now you got to be careful for C and D. You got to be careful for C and D. All right, so if you got F and then parentheses, we got X minus 5. Carlin, any ideas?
Let it go left 5.
Actually, when it's in the parentheses, it's flipped. So
Right 5.
it's going to go right. Okay, so it's going to go the opposite of like that sign, because I know you think negative, you're going to think left. It's going to go right 5. And if you got f of x plus 3, that's going to move left 3. So this is going to move left 3 for that. Now we did the first two together, and I know I asked you to do the next two for homework, but let's take a look at what they should look like. F of x minus 3, what should that do to the original function? It should move it down 3. What does this function look like if you graph it? So 1/3 x plus 1. The 1/3 is our slope. The y-intercept is 0, 1. So I'm going to go over here, and I'm going to put 0, 1. And I'm going to do a couple points, go up 1 to the right because it's a positive slope. 3, up 1 to the right. I'm going to go down 1 and to the left, and down 1 to the left. And so I'm going to connect those with that line right there. So that's your original function. This is f of x. G of x says, all right, take that function, move it down 3. Just take each point that you have plotted and then go straight down and put your new point. So I'm going to go down 3, 1, 2, 3. I'm going to go down 3. I'm going to go down 3. And then 1, 2, 3. 1, 2. And then I'm going to connect that with the line. And let's see here. So that's what you do if you have f of x minus 3. This case here, negative 2x minus 4, we got f, and then in parentheses this is x minus 3. So that's going to move it, Alex, which way?
Right.
Right. Do you not have the notes from Wednesday? You can't find them? All right. So it's going to move right 3. So I'm going to take negative 2x minus 4. So that has a slope, negative 2 over 1. Y-intercept, 0, negative 4. And so I go to 0, negative 4, put a dot. And you go, all right, negative slope. Remember, that goes downhill. So if I go up, I got to go to the left. Up 2 to the left 1. Up 2 to the left. And I can go down 2 to the right. And I'm going to connect. And got that line. All right, we said right 3. Take each point. If you haven't already done so, do it now. Move it right 3.
I don't have to answer anything, but I'm confused. If the key idea thing at the top for the when it's inside parentheses,
Right.
it says it'll shift the graph left when it's less than 0. But you've been saying right, and I'm just confused.
Okay, so here's what they're talking about. It's always in. Okay, it's always in the form of we're always subtracting this h value. So let's take a look. If h is 2, then it's going to be f of x minus 2. Agree with that? If it says h is bigger than 0, which way is it shifting? to the right. So that's that case right there. If h is less than 0, which way is it going? So if h is less than 0, so let h be negative 2, then this is what it looks like. It looks like x minus negative 2, and a minus and negative becomes a what? Positive. So it has to do with that h. A lot of times we don't tell you what h is, we just give you this. So here you'd say h is negative 2, okay? And in the end, it's going to be going left.
Yeah, it's like the slope formula, y minus, or y2 minus y1. When you have a negative number in that second one, you end up doing what? Adding. That's what's going on here.
So technically, you think if h is positive, it's going to the right, which is what you normally think, but here's what it looks like in the equation. All right, so yeah, it is backwards for that. So C, D, we're going right 3. So take every point that I can see, and I'm going to move it to the right. Let's see. And I'm going to connect with that line. And so there we go. All right, so that's left, right, up, or down. Flip it over on the back. Flip it over on the back. All right, key ideas. We're going to talk about reflection. Think of a mirror image. We're going to talk about the x-axis. We're going to talk about the y-axis. It's going to be a mirror. Now, this looks a little bit easier to see. Yours is a little bit fuzzy. You take f of x, your original function. If you put a negative in front of it, basically it changes your y value, your answer. And it's basically going to be a mirror. So you take a look at this piece here. It's going to flip. Oh, let's see if I can do this one at a time. So if you look at that piece there, it will flip over the x-axis to that piece. And then this piece here will flip over the x-axis to become that piece. That is when the negative's on the outside. What if the negative is with the x? It flips over the y-axis. Okay, that's going to be our mirror. Okay, one at a time. So it's kind of hard to see when they both have them together. We'll graph them one at a time just to see. All right, before we do one though, just take a look. If f of x equals 2x plus 5, describe the transformation from f to g. So I say g equals f to the negative x. What would you say happens? Reflects over which axis? You can use that. Lucas? It's going to reflect over the y-axis. Okay, good. So reflects over the y-axis. How about if the negative's on the outside? Okay, that's that first case there is going to reflect over the x-axis. So it reflects over the x-axis. Okay, so that's an A. All right, now take a look at that first one on your paper. Okay, f of x equals 3x plus 1. G of x equals negative f of x. Let's graph the first one. Graph 3x plus 1. Okay, if you know what you're doing, graph it. I'm going to do it up here in a second. Okay, but we got to make sure the first one's right. Because if we don't make sure the first one's right, the second one's going to be wrong. First one, 3x plus 1. And for the most part, you guys did a good job graphing on your test. Slope is 3 or 3 over 1. It is positive, so it's going uphill. Plus 1 is my y-intercept, 0, 1. So put a dot at 0, 1. And then you're going to go up 3, 1, 2, 3, to the right 1. Do at least 2 points above it. Do at least 2 points below it. And let's see here. All right, so make sure you got that graph. 3x plus 1. Go ahead and draw the line on there. Okay, draw that line. Good. Got it. All right, now, which axis, Taryn, which axis is this going to reflect in? Okay, so this is going to be over the x-axis. So this is going to go over the x-axis. All right, so how do I graph that? Over the x-axis in terms of that.
What did you take? Go to 0.01 and then go down 3 and right 1?
I'm just trying to see. Down 3. No, that will give it the same opposite slope. Not necessarily a reflection. Okay, not necessarily a reflection. All right. First thing you would do here is go to where it hits the x-axis. Does it hit the x-axis? Right there. Just put a dot there. Okay, that's where it has to hit. All right. Now, when it goes over the x-axis, let's start with the furthest point on the left. What is its y value there? Its y value is -5. You agree with that? If I reflect over the x-axis, what's its y value going to become? Jeff, am I making any sense? I'm at -5 right here. I'm at that point 2, -5. You see that? I'm going to reflect it over the x-axis. Where's it going to end up at?
5, -2.
Don't flip everything around. We're only going to change the y value. If the y value is -5, it's going to become +5. So it's going to stay right in line. You just go straight up, go to +5, put a dot. Okay, so it's going to reflect over. So it's going to be the same height away from the x-axis. Okay, so the x value is not going to change. So -2, -5, it will go flip up here. All right, at this point here, where it is at -2, it's going to go to +2. Got it? The next point is at 0, 1. Reflected over the x-axis, so where's it going to go? If it's at +1, it's going to go to -1. And then at 1, 4, it's going to reflect to 1, -4. And at 2, that's a 7, reflect that all the way down to -7. Okay? Do your dots form a line? Okay. If they form a line, go ahead and connect them. Okay, if they form a line, go ahead and connect them. And so I'm going to do that. That is reflected over the x-axis. So basically, you take your y value and make it the opposite sign. That point right there, that's at 1, make it -1 right there. So now, that, wait. On the axis, that's on the axis, let's go straight now, so it needs to be right. That one. Then you'll be good. Now you're good. Okay. Good. All right, we good? For that one. All right, let's take a look. So that's over the x-axis. Let's take a look at the second one. -2x + 1. Graph that one. Graph -2x + 1. My slope is -2/1. My y-intercept, which is also your b value, is 0, 1. Okay, so I'm going to go to 0, 1. I'm going to put a dot. And then I'm going to go, it's a negative slope, so make sure it goes downhill. Make sure it goes downhill. And then, so that's going to give me -2. So I'm going to go up 2 to the left 1. Up 2 to the left 1. I'm going to do 3 points above it. 3 points below it. And then I'm going to draw that line. And I'm going to put an arrow on there. Make sure you put arrows on both of them. All right, let me try something here. Oh, this may not.
See, look at the negative x. Your x is just become opposite.
Yep. All right, f of negative x reflected over which axis? Y-axis. So it's going to go over the y-axis. Reflect over the y-axis. So reflect over the y-axis. So you kind of go wherever this x value is. That's going to be on the opposite side. I don't think that's helping at all. We'll get rid of that thing. Okay, wherever your x value is, you go through the y-axis and you plot it right on the other side. So what is this? Oh, let me make that blue. That has an x value of 3. So go to negative 3.
But guys, when you go over to, stay on that same y line. Okay, don't, because some of you guys change that when you flip the other one and it kind of screws you up.
I'm going to draw on here because I can erase. I mean, you can do lightly. So here's what I'm going to do, like he's talking about. This point right here, this is at 3. I'm going to go right along that line, but I'm going to go to negative 3 and put a dot. Okay, now I'm going to go back and erase that, but that's all we're doing. This point right here is at 2. I'm going to go straight through here to negative 2 and put a dot. And then this point's at 1. I'm going to go straight through there to negative 1. The point on the y-axis will still be there. That'll still be there. I'm going to go to 1. Now it's at negative 1. I got to go to positive 1. I'm at 2. Or at negative 2. I got to go to positive 2. And I'm at negative 3. I got to go to positive 3. So I'm going straight across to get to that point. So I get to that point, and now I can go back and erase because I got my magic eraser.
You guys see where it's hitting the y-axis at 1? Does everybody see that? It's like you're taking that. Look, guys, it's like you're taking this thing right here, and rotating it that way across the y. All right. What's wrong? Was that sarcastic?
Okay. So there you go. All right. We did those first 2. I want to make sure we get to this next part. Make sure those 2 are down. Pull out your computers. Okay. Pull out your computers. And go to let me see something here. I'm gonna borrow yours. And just go to algebra 1. Just go to the algebra 1 file and open that up. And then I'm going to put Carly's up here so that I can see what it looks like from the student perspective. Yep, just click on algebra 1. All right, let's deal with this for a second. All right, let's see if I can put this up on the screen. All right, go to the Big Ideas Math, your book, online book there. I'm going to try and give you some assignments on the computer as opposed to paper and pencil every time. So we're trying to figure out maybe once a week. But there's a way we can do this. I just got to figure out where they are at. Okay, so right here. This is an assignment, section 3.7 homework. I'm not sure why it says copy. Click on that. And now see where it says start. All done? All right, thank you. This is, okay. Did yours not say start?
Oh, no.
All right, yep, go to that start. All right, your homework or classwork, you're going to hopefully get most of this done in class, is page 196, or I'll give you this numbers, but it's going to be right here on your computer. You got your notes in front of you. Use those as a guide. If you need to write some things down, that's fine. But also, we got to get used to using these format here. So it says the graphs of F and G, use the graphs of F and G to describe the transformation. All right, you got to look at F first, and how is G related to that? Okay, so the graph of G is if you look at that menu, is it a vertical or horizontal when you have that +2? Is that vertical or horizontal? Alex?
Vertical.
Okay, that's vertical, so I'm going to hit vertical. It's a vertical translation. Well, how many units? Okay, how many units? What would we put? Carly? Huh? Well, remember, since it says +2, the 2 means it's going to move 2 units because it's going vertical for that one. And then vertical units, is it up, down, left, or right? There's a +2 moving up, down, left, or right. Moves it up. All right, now let's see. Does it check it? How do I check that? Is there, is that this here? Okay, so I hit the check, and I think you're allowed 3 tries. I can change the tries, and I'll change that for each based upon which ones we're doing. Okay, sometimes it'll be 1 try, sometimes it'll be 2. I think you got a couple. So that means you got it right. Okay, go to the next one. Okay, this is your work. If you got time here in class, hopefully you can finish it in class. Your job is get them all right. Go back and fix them, check it, and go to the next one. Okay. Hold on, let me get Carly her computer back.
My internet wasn't working when you
All right.
there.
Hit that BIM tool. And here's the actual assignment. Ooh. Okay, we're on 163, 1 through 6 and 9 through 12. Oh, X that out.
I get that.
Yep, and then just hit it again. Oops. Oh, I took the whole thing out. I didn't mean to do that. Go back to it. No, go sit down now. It's over. What's that? Yep, this is your homework. The problem, these are the same thing as on the computer. Okay, those are the same things on the computer. Got it? So just do it on the computer. Okay, Jeff? Yep, let me get to see if I can get out. How to answer it? Are you on the site?
Yeah, how to answer questions.
All right.
So at least it's not like 5 things.
This usually happens. Okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
See also.
Didn't have to click on that. Then it'll say start. Should be good.
I hate computers.
Alright, we did this. Okay. So remember how this? See, this is where you need to go through this and you write down.
I feel like
So you can have that.
How many are?
write it up.
Like,
Is this part of the homework? Or is this just separate?
This is.
Oh, this is that?
What is this? That would be the last three. That's not bad.
Okay, horizontal.
Is it in parentheses? Okay, it would be the last.
No, horizontal
Not vertical.
is what?
Horizontal.
Left to right? It's gonna be in the parentheses.
Okay.
And then up and down, vertical would be no parentheses. Okay?
All right.
Does that make sense? That's
Yeah,
it.
that makes
That's it.
sense.
That's
Thank
it.
you.
Well, when would be a horizontal?
You okay, Mom?
Vertical? So when it goes up or down. So
For this one, I hope it's.
Hey, yes, I want you guys to get done today so that we can make sure you're doing these correct on your computer.
I just checked it.
What are we doing? That's called,
Actually.
the graph of
Wait,
G
no.
is what? Click on it. Okay, now, let's go up or down. Okay, so it's a vertical
I
change.
just did this one.
Okay, the translation.
Just do the 10 problems on there.
Three what? Oh, wait, where's the translation?
Yeah.
It's in I guess it's three.
Plus 4.
Three what?
It says the
Three what? Down. That's it. That's all you gotta do. Okay? Yep. Now, if it's in parentheses, X minus or plus, then it's then it's gonna be horizontal. Yeah.
Alright, so you still need to go back to the computer and then do that, because that's how it's gonna record your score.
Why is it like, what's it?
Well, you should be able to look at it and tell.
You don't.
There's no negative. That's it.
That's it.
That's it.
So it's 5, but it's gonna be like.
It's on the outside, it's on the outside.
Sure.
It's up and
Yeah,
down.
right.
It's on the inside, it's you try it, and
How
it'll
do
say
you
when
know
you're
if
ready.
we
Well, how do you get to 11 and 12 here, Heath?
The way the computer works is basically it lists, this is the ones I assigned. So 1 through 6 are right, but number 7 is actually number 9. Number 8 would be number 10.
Oh,
Number 9 would be 11. So these are the problems from the book, but it's just going to list them as 1 through 10. Okay, so you just do the 10 problems that are listed. Just do the 10 problems that are listed. So like if I mix that up, it'll show up differently. Okay, it has to do with how you do that. Is it plus 3 on the outside? Or is it plus 3 in the parentheses? So that's the difference.
Right?
If it's on the outside, which way does it move? It moves either up or down. If it's on the inside, it moves it. Now left to right, which one's horizontal? Is left and right horizontal?
Right? It would be on the surface because.
Or, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's it's horizontal. That's horizontal.
It's great. Wait, do we have to? I don't know. I just had
Did you get them all right?
I didn't know. Probably the why
All right, what are we doing with that?
Yeah, because the 2 parts were
yes, ma'am.
There yet?
When they do it, is it the same right thing?
No, I think it was
Parentheses
just
are
goes on down.
horizontal, so
I
it
think
would
it's
be
just done and they get them all right. You're done.
why?
Yeah.
No, yeah, it's why. Okay, yeah, that's why. Okay, we're on some zone. Yeah, it is. Wait, how do you do it? You said it.
You take it out, Steve.
How do you submit it?
It absolutely does
Yeah.
not say.
I know, Brian, chill out.
I found it. Okay, if you hit this, guys, there's 3 lines up in the top and it says save, and then it says submit. I'd say submit. Okay, I assume so. Yeah.
Good.
I don't know.
Brian, I know it's not that difficult.
Okay,
I
yeah,
got it
yeah.
done.
Alright, no, thank you, Shiva. How many good mornings did you say, Ava? Next period? Yeah.
I just finished.
Do you do a different for top things? No.
Yeah.
It does say save and exit, submit. You're supposed to, like, it doesn't say.
You gotta submit it?
Yeah, there's 3 lines on the top and you can hit submit.
Alright, make sure you get submitted. You get submitted.
I really like Shakespeare. Oh, I hate Shakespeare. I like Romeo and Juliet. Ew, you like Romeo and Juliet? It's so fun. Romeo and Juliet. No, what word do you? I was supposed to be Juliet.